players to own their game characters, and then also building a game that's skill-based and fun, which is kind of unheard of so far in the crypto gaming space. There's games in development that promise to be fun and things like that, but for the most part, most crypto games up to this point have been very clicky. Like you click around and that's the game, but you're not actually playing a game, or nothing skill based. So the game that we're building is a combination. I call it mechified tower defense because it's a combination of hero character battle mechs combined with tower defense gameplay with a little bit of real-time strategy thrown in. And I could totally get into some more details on that, but the high level, that's where the game is going. And the way we got into this, so Moses mentioned that, I was at an e-com conference. My main business is e-commerce optimization. We have a fairly large company that does optimization for e-com stores. But I've been in crypto since end of 2016, rode the wave up through Christmas of 2016, rode it all the way down through the 2017 crash, and have been playing in the crypto space ever since. I'm also a gamer. I call myself a closet gamer though, because I do have an obsessive personality. And if I get sucked into something, I never want to do anything else. So I had to keep my gaming in the closet so that I would actually get stuff done in life. But during that time, I always wanted to build my own game. It just never was the right time until I started seeing what was happening in the crypto space. And I started realizing this perfect storm was forming with a decentralized finance, distributed ledger, play to earn economics. And then when you rope in the NFTs, not as the PFP, but the underlying NFT technology allowing you to have player owned assets where you can own your character, own your weapons, own your armor, own these different things that then can be leveled up and then sold later on. And I just saw this perfect storm and I'm like, man, this is the time to do it. Indie games are the next wave of crypto gaming. And so I was like, this is the right time to start the project. So the way we found Mech and the tower defense game that we're building was I approached this the same way I would approach a business in the real world. And I started doing demographic research, audience research, niche research to figure out, I was trying to find a blue ocean in a sea of red and trying to find a place that wasn't oversaturated, that there was a lot of opportunity, and that there was a lot of impassioned people that would want to be a part of this. And what I found was I looked at mechs because I loved playing Mech Warrior and stuff like that. And I looked at mech gaming as a whole and realized that it is actually a very large gaming audience of passionate players that spend a lot of time gaming. But it was also a fairly frustrated audience in that all the gaming that was currently favoring mech players was all mech versus mech combat. There was no variety of gameplay. And so they were like, we love mechs, but we'd like to do something different besides just blow up other mechs. And then I kept researching, and I was looking at other industries like MOBA, massive multiplayer, open world games, and then tower defense. And as I started researching tower defense, I realized, well, I love tower defense, but also it's another massive audience, super addictive to gameplay, lends itself well to streaming, works with mobile gaming, all that kind of stuff. But what I also found was that the mech gaming audience had a huge correlation and overlap with the tower defense audience, meaning that a lot of tower defense players like mech games, a lot of mech players like tower defense games. And we realized, how awesome would it be if we combined those two elements and created a fun to play tower defense game with hero mech characters that you control that can run around the map and support your towers, support your stuff with a strategy element for mining your resources, and put that into a game, and then build in a play to earn dual token economy, NFT owned assets. So you own your mech, you own your weapons, you own your upgrades, all of that in one thing. And that's basically how Mech.Game came to be. Long-winded explanation, but wanted to kind of paint a picture for everybody.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's great. Like, you had an idea, and through your, I feel like that research really lends well to your background, right? Finding out where the need is and where the opportunity is, looking at the data to make your decisions. That's fantastic.
Yeah, that has been, I would say, if I could, aside from the normal, I work hard kind of thing, but one of the things that's been a secret to my success, or a major contributor to my success in the business world, has been a skill at finding opportunities in the marketplace. Like, okay, everybody's doing this, they're doing that. but they're not doing this here in the middle. And I find that opportunity in the middle, and that's where our companies, our offers, our whatever have all been built out of. And so I kind of took that same approach here. Instead of just picking something, go, hey, I'm going to build a pig game, or I'm going to build something random. I wanted to build something that actually people wanted. I wanted to build something that I would want and that I would enjoy playing, even if there was no PDE, and also that there was a community of people out there that would want to get behind it and help it grow and ride it all the way up.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, if you're gonna do it, that's the way. Because I mean, you see a lot of projects these days just kind of it for a little while, I guess, for the past 6 months to a year, people will just buy anything, right? So, and that's sort of coming to an end right now, or at least taking a little nap while the market's down. But I think this is I'm glad that there are finally some projects like yours that are coming out that are delivering something that's that's quality. Like games that are going to be fun to play, like absent any sort of blockchain technology,
Yep.
right? So
And
you're making a fun game that's enhanced by the fact that you own your assets, and if you level up your character, for a couple of months, you can sell it for more than you bought it for, right?
absolutely, regardless of whatever the rarity is on it or everything. I mean, the rarity only enhances that, that value. But you mentioned something that, what I want to just touch on it, guys, and this is not specific to Mech.Game or anything, but just kind of like my view of the industry. I'm sure you guys know, and I'm sure you believe, and you've talked about that, like crypto gaming overall is the next boom sector, growth sector of the crypto environment. It's got the most potential for massive growth in the shortest window of time, but there's a reason that massive growth curve hasn't hit yet. And because for that to hit, I mean, we know that there's only a small number of people actually, like compared to the world population, that are actually in crypto or playing games and stuff like that. But for that crypto gaming boom to happen, we need adoption from the traditional gamer crowd. And if you've spent any time in any actual gaming forums or Reddits or whatever, and you hear NFTs mentioned, you'll realize and you'll see that gamers don't like NFTs. They think for the most part, they think they're a joke. They don't think they have any relevance, and they think crypto games are a joke because these guys are playing games for pure enjoyment. They only play them if they're fun and if they want to play them. And then you come to the crypto gaming space where, for the most part, and again, no knock on these projects, they've still built awesome projects, but the games are more like click, 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 and that's the game. And then, so these gamers are not going to migrate over and create this crypto boom in the gaming space until more games that are actually playable and fun come out. Then these guys stepping in, who are a very technologically savvy crowd, are also going to kind of ease their way into crypto by playing these play to earn games, which will then foster the adoption. And that's where that massive adoption and growth and boom in the crypto gaming space is going to come from. And there's several games out there that are, being built that are, hoping to do that and help be a part of that, just like we are. I mean, there's games like Cities Heroes, there's Phantom Galaxies, Star Atlas, some of these bigger games, Cryo War, that are all trying to build games that are fun and then later have the other elements. So, building it in reverse order from what everybody currently has done. Everybody currently has built NFTs that are a game or that have a game attached. We're building it the other way, which is build a game that utilizes NFT technologies. And that actual topic has gotten real popular recently. I just actually got asked to speak at NFT Con in Miami on that exact topic about the future of crypto PDE gaming and why basically NFT games versus games with NFT and how that's the future. So anyway, just wanted to share that little tidbit because it might give some extra education for people who haven't really dove into the crypto gaming quite as heavily as I've been researching it.
Yeah, and I think that we're kind of coming. So I mean, you saw the big NFT, like I don't know if it's the first one, but I learned about NFTs early 2021, right? And I think that's around the same time a lot of other people did as well. And so now we're we're 13 months or 15 months into that. So now you've had enough development time, right? Because games take time to build too. So, I think we're gonna start, like you said, start seeing a lot of more of these things dropping soon, like this year, later this year, and then 2023 is just going to be enormous for that.
Great.
But okay, so getting back to, I digress, right? Getting back to Mech.Game. So you are building a real video game. So that's obviously a huge undertaking. What kind of support do you have as far as your team goes to make that happen and make your vision
Absolutely.
come to fruition?
Yeah. So first thing to just to be totally transparent with guys, like I'm not a game developer. I am not a DeFi expert or crypto. Like I'm a hack like everybody else who's kind of learned their own way through crypto and NFTs and all of that. My skill set is business, building teams, hiring, scaling, that kind of stuff. So what I just went ahead and did is like I did the research. I know how to do it. I learned how to write game design documents and pitch games and do all that kind of stuff because I had to learn. But when it came time to actually build this, I just went out and found the best people I could. So we lucked out really, really well. We were able to find a guy who his name is Tib. He lives in France, and he was the game project lead on Assassin's Creed for Ubisoft. So he was a AAA game developer, game designer focused on level design, and was the project lead as well. He was started freelancing, and then freelancing wasn't working so well. And rather than take another job, I found him and offered him a full-time gig. So he has brought massive, skill and credibility to our game development team. And then we've basically, through him interviewing and other people that he already knew in the space, were able to hire in additional game developers and different aspects that we needed. Also, we have everybody's pretty much in-house on our team. We don't have any, Upwork type people or VA. We have a couple VAs that help with the social posting and stuff like that. But all the core people, like our 3D animators, our 3D modelers, they're all full-time. One's in Seattle, one's in the UK. Another one is in, where is he? He's in Hungary. And another one in Hungary is also our video effects designer and our video production guy. He's within bombing range of the Ukraine, so he's had to move to kind of get out further away from the Hungary border or Hungary-Ukraine border. But then we've got a good marketing team with Jeremy Friedland and Jeff Hunter, and then we've got DeFi experts and advisors from a couple different VC companies that have come on board full time with us as well. So we've just basically been kind of piecing together the team. And one of the things that's nice about our team is that, or the reason we've been able to build a team, is that this project is funded. It's self-funded. Like I'm putting my money in this project to fund the whole thing. So we didn't need a mint to happen in order to kick off this project like you see most projects. Because again, I'm trying to do this the way I would do a business, because it is a business. The second we decide to take money from someone, it becomes a business. So what we were looking at is, and me as a consumer as well, if I'm gonna ask you to believe in my project and invest in my project by purchasing an NFT, I better have my money where my mouth is and already have shown you something more than just a PFP image or something. So we decided to go ahead and start development on the game and the project, everything, before ever even showing it to the world, and even before our mint happened. So the project is funded. Whether the mint sells out or not, we will still develop the game. The other aspect, though, is obviously we want the mint to sell out because it helps plant the flag and helps the community grow and all that stuff. Plus, it gives us a war chest where those funds can go to accelerate the game development and marketing and everything. Because when it comes to software and game development, and I have a lot of experience in software, which is just another form of games, the more devs and the more talent you can lay on, the faster you can bring it to market. So the reality is if we do sell at the mint, we'll bring it to the market even faster. And if we don't, we'll just keep plugging along at our current budget level and growing it. And that doesn't even count all the VCs that now are wanting to be involved. The coolest thing about being funded from that side is I can tell VCs no, because I don't need their money. And they flip out when you tell them no, because nobody has ever told them no. Everybody's always begging for their money. So the power position has changed. And that allows us to really dial in on really quality VCs who bring other assets to the table, like connections, software, tech, market makers, centralized exchange contacts, KOLs, things like that. So now these VCs that have been coming on board have been yes, they're bringing capital, which is going straight into game dev and straight into the company, but they're also only being signed up if they bring on something else that helps the growth of the community and the project.
Yeah, I mean man, that's fantastic because and I think that's why you're a little bit further ahead, right? So when is the planned launch date?
So the first thing coming out is of course our Genesis Mech collection, which I'll tell you guys about in a second because there's some pretty cool features and functionality with that, and it's because it's not just an NFT, but that'll be the first release to the world, and that is scheduled for the first week of April right now. However, with me being asked to speak at NFT Con in April 5th and 6th. And then I'm also at NFT Miami, and we're hosting the VIP yacht party. So Mech.Game, Mutant Cats, and Byte.io are hosting a private yacht party at the tail end of that event for all the speakers and the VIPs. We're going to get a lot extra of buzz and connections and everything off of that. So our advisors and incubators and even some of our community members are talking about that we should probably push the launch date out past that to fully capitalize on all of that, but it will be in April for sure. Following that will be an airdrop, which we could talk about later if you guys want to hear about that. Following the airdrop will be NFT staking. Following the NFT staking will be the second collection of the Stronghold, which we can also talk about. And then following that will be the token launch. And following that will be the alpha of the game release, which we're slated for the early alpha for the Genesis holders to be able to test the game, the very, very, very MVP version of the game in May.
Wow, May. That is
Yeah.
so wow.
Now,
Okay, so all of those things that you just described to me are happening within the next 6 weeks. Is that what we're saying?
yep.
Wow.
Now of course that is the timeline we're on right now. But if we launch, it depends on when the launch date happens. Of course, we may have to push things a little bit, but
Right.
we're not going to launch the token early. One of the things that we've noticed from research and talking to our VCs and our advisors is that when you launch a token too early in a project and there's no actual utility for the token right away, token price skyrockets and then plummets. And then it's
Yep.
very hard to build it back up because there's no actual use for the token except selling it on the exchange. So we need to keep the token launch tied to when the game launches. So when the token comes out, there's actual use for it in the game immediately, and that will help stabilize the token and help it start growing, which is what everybody wants it to do. So we're going to tie everything together. Now, that is our timeline. That's what the game developers are talking about right now. Everything looks great, but I've built software. Anybody who has any experience in the software world will realize that tech can change, things can happen, scope creep happens, all kinds of things happen. So there is a chance that it can push out, but we are definitely looking at the game being out early this year.
Wow, that's fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's again MVP of the game. I like to underpromise, overdeliver. I'm not saying like the full whiz bang, full featured every aspect of the game you've ever dreamed up will be released in that time frame, but there will be the game in that time frame.
Yeah, 100%. Hold on, I just gotta. Oh yeah, someone just said they're so pumped for Mech.Game. That's coin collector. Yeah, man, me too. I'm really pumped.
I'm as excited as everybody else. We're working right now. One of the things that has actually slowed us down is we've had so many requests for gameplay footage that we've pushed ahead, showing some like building out our gameplay, which does slow down some of our like smart contract and other development work because we had to allocate people over to that thing. But we're hoping to have gameplay footage by the 1st, which means so I can take it to NFT Miami and show it off on stage and at the booth and everything. So
Yep.
we should have some cool gameplay footage for all of you guys. Now that has slowed us down a little bit, like I said, because obviously we have a good team, but we don't have an infinite budget team at the moment. One thing on that team that I didn't mention when you did ask me about the team is the Solidity side, which is a massive part of any kind of NFT or crypto project, because that's the smart contract code, right? So our Solidity team is the #1 Solidity team in the space. It is the same guys who wrote every line of code for Neo Tokyo, and they are part of the Mech.Game project, as in like tied into the project with us, building it with us. So we have the exact same team that wrote every line of code for Neo Tokyo building all of our smart contracts and all of our, technical blockchain side of things.
That's fantastic. I mean, um, those contracts where a lot of things can go wrong. So, it's good
Yes.
that you guys have a good team on that. And then kind of circling back to what you're talking about with your token, I mean, I think that's another thing where you don't have to, you've already funded the game, so it's not like you have to, you don't have to worry about a tax on the token to grab funds. You don't have to push it out. Because you're right. I mean, if you launch a token, especially if mechs are earning by staking right before the game comes out, those tokens are just going to get dumped.
Yep.
People are just going to go for their ROI, and I mean, you have a few thousand people doing that. Your token's trash.
You crush your token right off the bat.
Let's
And
take it back.
yeah, so with our token, so we have a dual token economy. So we have our Mech token, which is our governance token. So if for the most general comparison I can give you would be to compare it to like Axie. So Axie Infinity has two tokens. Axie, which is their governance token. So our comparable token would be our Mech token. And then SLP, which is Axie's in-game currency. Our in-game currency is credits. So we've got both of those tokens. The NFT staking that will take place right away will earn credit tokens, and those are basically going to go into a savings account type of thing where they're basically locked until the game comes out. So you'll earn, as long as you have your NFT staked, you will be earning credits tokens that basically you will have this whole savings account of tokens saved up that you can use to upgrade your mech, play the game. So you could sell it when the liquidity is released and all of that as well. But also during the time while you're staking, you'll be able to get early upgrades, early things for your mech, other add-on NFTs that I can't really talk about right now, but there'll be a lot of functionality that you'll be able to use those credit tokens for while you're earning them, should you so choose to, or you could just let them stack up. Now, in full transparency, if you do stake, while you're staked, you obviously can't sell your NFT. If you want to sell it, totally fine with you flipping it. I don't care. Just you'd have to unstake for that, and you'll be able to do all of that. The Mech token itself, there will be a public launch for that. That's the token also the VCs are currently buying. So there's a private cap table for the VCs right now. And then when we do the public launch, we'll have a proportionate number of the tokens available for public launch. But one of the other things about the Genesis collection, and I'll touch on this in a little bit more in a second to make you see why we're doing it this way. But when you mint a Genesis collection mech, and as long as you own it, when the token launch happens, prior to the token launch, the Mech token launch, there is an allocation set aside for every Genesis Mech NFT for that holder to purchase the Mech token at the private round price that the VCs paid. So that will be lower than what the public launch is, significantly lower. So you'll get the perk at the VCs.
Yeah, so sorry to interrupt, but that's a seed price. That's not even like a pre-sale, because a lot of times tokens.
Correct. It's not a pre-sale. It's actually at the same price as the VCs. Now, it is a specific specified allocation, meaning that each mech will have a certain allotment available to it. So not one person can go buy all of it or whatever. Each mech is allowed to buy X amount at that price. So if you own multiple mechs, you can buy each mech's allotment. If you own one mech, you get that one allotment. But it's, and that's an optional thing. It's not required. It's just an extra perk that we're giving to our Genesis holders. And that reason we're doing that is I'm a consumer. I buy a lot of NFTs. I've been in a lot of NFT games, projects, and things like that. And I think that the way that these people treat the Genesis collection it's just the first collection. Well, that's bullshit. The Genesis collection is your initial founders. It's the initial people who believed enough in your community to mint from the start. Whether they want to flip or not, they still took a chance and they were willing to support you early on in a project. It's no sweat off anyone's back when someone comes in 6 months or 8 months after the project is launched and goes, yeah, I'm going to support this project and I'm going to ape in. No, the people who have the balls are the ones who get in early. And for that reason, I want to treat my Genesis mech holders the same way I would want to be treated as a Genesis holder, which is like gold. So we're rewarding our Genesis mech holders with, not only are your Genesis mechs going to be more valuable, have upgraded game stats and all of the stuff like that, but they're also giving you NFT staking, which the other NFTs will not have. They're also giving you the airdrop, which we'll talk about, will be the airdrop. Actually, what you're going to get, the game asset you'll get there has the potential, and I'll explain why, be the most valuable NFT in the entire Mech.Game ecosystem, because there will only ever be 10,000 of them, even if we have 100, 200,000, a million players or whatever. And it's something that you will want to use in the game. They get the airdrop. After that, they get the token allocation, and then the stronghold, which is the second collection, and it balances out the play to earn economics. You have to have a mech and a stronghold. The strongholds, the only people who will be able to buy strongholds until the game launches will be Genesis mech holders, and you'll be able to purchase more than one of them, so that when the game does launch, new players come in, they want to play the play to earn side, they're going to need a stronghold. So where are they going to get them? They're going to buy them, or they're going to rent them from you guys, the Genesis mech holders. So we're building in as many different profit centers for the Genesis mech holders as possible, and to make that NFT even more valuable. So if you did want to flip it, you can flip it at a really high price, or you hold it and then use it for monetization further down the road. And then also Genesis mech holders also get enhanced staking rewards when the Mech Token staking comes out with the gameplay.
Man, awesome.
Yeah, I mean, seriously stacking the deck. And I'm doing that intentionally, knowing what I'm doing. Like, I want you guys to feel special when you have one of these mechs, because you are special, because you're supporting the project at an early phase.
Yeah, man, take my money. Okay, so we have a question. We have a question from Grim. I'm going to go ahead and bring him up. Grim,
Dude, this sounds great. I'm super stoked. I just want to know, what are we looking at for like the initial purchase for a Genesis?
Everything you got.
That's not much, man.
No,
not much.
Yeah, no. We're looking at a $500 to $600 mint price.
Okay.
And so obviously we're basically set it at around 0.2. But with ETH, if ETH's up, it'll be less. If ETH's down, it'll be more. It'll be in that, but it'll be in that range. And then the stronghold collection will be less than that.
So it'll be a $500, $600 mint price plus a $300 ETH fee price.
Well, I mean,
if gas is that high, I mean, I just sent 3 ETH for $5, and I just minted another NFT for 12. So it really depends on what it is, but we are going to do everything we possibly can to mitigate gas fees on ETH for that. One thing we can do right off the bat is smart contracts inherently are not written efficiently due to just sloppy code. So one of the things we can do is really dial in the smart contract, and we're already doing that to minimize gas fees there. We'll also, on the whitelist, we will allow a large window of time to allow people to mint at the most opportune time. And if we wind up with a large whitelist like we're anticipating, we may even break it into multiple whitelists to allow each whitelist to have its own window of time to break down the competition for gas as well.
Yeah. And I think, oh, go ahead. So I just wanted to tag on that, and I'll let you ask your question, Greg. But I mean, I think the question there is like, okay, so why did you choose to launch on ETH, right? Like when there's Polygon, like there's options.
Happy to answer that. I'll go ahead and let Graham ask his question, and then we can come back to that.
Oh, sure.
Well, that was actually my question.
Oh, okay. Did you have something else? Or just that one?
That was actually my question. And where can we find where we can read white paper and all that stuff?
So you can, if you go to our Discord in the official links channel, there's all the links to all that stuff, or just go to the website and Mech.Game, which is the URL, and you can go to the document side and see the white paper. You can see the founder's letter, pitch deck, all that stuff. I will say there's an Easter egg in the white paper number 1. You have to pay attention to it, and if you find it, you'll find a whole bunch of more information, but I'm not going to tell you what that is.
All right. Well, thank you very much, sir.
Yep. Well, thanks, Greg.
Great question. So to address the why ETH, so there's a couple things. Number one, ETH is by far the largest chain for NFTs. It's the highest value. It holds its value versus compared to other NFTs. And people can always say, oh, Solana is great, this and that. Okay, Solana is great, but the most expensive NFT on Solana is still a middling price NFT on Ethereum. So in order to protect our investors, the people who've bought NFTs, and protect their value and give it the best chance of appreciating and having a buyer pool when they choose to sell it, we're keeping it on ETH. It's just the biggest network, and we've talked to a lot of different VCs, advisors, incubation programs, and different people, and they all agree ETH is where it's at when it comes to launching an NFT that you actually want to remain valuable. Now, with that said, the game will not be on ETH. The game will be utilizing a layer 2 sidechain. Right now, as I've told everybody before, we're testing Polygon and AVAX as our top 2 chains right now for sidechain. So the game will actually operate on the sidechain, and will only use the sidechains when necessary for on-chain interactions. The game itself, all the game functions, just like any real game, will happen off-chain, because blockchain technology has not developed to a point where it's fast enough, cost-effective enough, or efficient enough to operate a game, a skill-based game with lots of different things happening, fully on-chain. So the game itself will live off-chain, and then all on-chain interactions will happen through a layer 2. So for example, like your wallet, if you play the game, you complete a level, and you get shown what your score was and your rewards, you earn 10 tokens and 25 experience points. Those will go into your in-game wallet, and then when you're ready, actually the experience will immediately go to upgrade to your NFT, but the tokens will remain in your wallet until you want to click withdraw, and then they will go to your secondary wallet, or your actual main MetaMask wallet, or whatever. Similar to the way that Axie works with Ronin or something like that. So there will be, and then any other on-chain important interactions that the game will happen through that same layer 2 to minimize gas fees. And of course, the game will absorb all of the actual interaction gas fees. The only one that you would encounter would be the transferring it from the game to the wallet, and that would be pennies, if anything, based on the side chain.
Got it. And so I guess kind of piggybacking on that, I had a question from someone in the audience asking, are the stats, are your upgraded stats and weapons, are those going to be on chain? Are those going to affect your NFT?
Yes. So each NFT. So let's kind of answer the whole thing. Let's talk about the NFT first. So the NFT itself is not your typical NFT. Most NFTs are nothing more than a PFP. They're a JPEG or a PNG. If that's the case and there's a game attached to it, that NFT that you own and you see on OpenSea is not your game character. So if a collection or a project is telling you that, hey, you bought this PFP, PNG, a 3/4 image of a torso or whatever, and they're saying, hey, this is your character in the game, that's straight up a lie. Okay, and I'm not trying to knock anybody down, but that's just the truth. A PFP JPEG that's a 3/4 image or whatever is not the same character that they would have to code or build in the game. So technically, the NFT you own is not your game character at that point. Whether they do it legitimately and develop another game character that is NFT and tied back and awarded to you, different story. But in our case, we knew this, and we wanted to go a different route that would also allow us to develop faster as new technologies emerge, and make our NFTs available elsewhere besides just our game universe. So the NFT that you buy from Mech.Game, the Genesis collection, or any future NFT, is a 3D game ready character. So that what you see on your OpenSea when you load your NFT, that 3D manipulatable image that you will see, it's actually a 3D file. So when you're on OpenSea, you can click it, drag it, move it around, and see it 3D animated walking around. That file is the exact game character that you play in the game. So you actually own your game character. Okay, so that's first thing. Number 2 is that there are, in the Genesis collection, there are 8 different models of mech. Each different model has its own circulating supply. So Maverick being the smallest supply of only 500, Centurion having the most supply of 1,750. Everything in between there has a different supply. From there are 16 upgradable game stats for every mech. So there's 16 stats that they all have: armor, speed, power, range, energy, those kinds of things, health. So they'll have all those. Those can be upgraded in the game as you level up your character, or by spending credits on the upgrade in the robotics facility or something like that. Those game stats do not impact rarity, because it would not be fair if, let's see, let me pick someone out of here. If Hammer minted a mech, and he wound up with a rarity, I don't know, 50. He got one of the 50 most rare mechs in the game. But then Jay Ryan over here mints one that is 300, but he upgrades his game stats, and all of a sudden the rarity changes, and the NFT that Hammer had that was the most valuable is now less valuable than Jay Ryan's. That's not fair. So the rarity stats are not changeable from that. So once the rarity is established, that will be the same. However, upgrading your game stats will actually be recorded on the blockchain. So if your base damage was 50 and you upgraded it to 100, that would show, it would also show how much you spent to do that. So you're literally demonstrating that your game character, whatever rarity it is, that's a perk, is actually more valuable. So even if you have a low rarity game character, you can command higher prices on selling it because in the game, you've already upgraded it so highly. So there's also 13 rarity traits with all the different combinations of weapons and armor and accessories and all that kind of stuff. It comes out to 7.6 billion possible combinations. So 9,987 of the mechs are generative, and then 13 of them are legendary one-of-ones that are handcrafted. You know what? I got so excited talking about what I was talking about, I forgot what your actual question was.
No, we just wanted to know about the NFTs and what was stored on the blockchain, what was not.
Okay. So the game stats are actually stored, and same with rarity. That's all IFPS. So that's all on the blockchain, but that allows us to upgrade them. The rarity won't change, but the game stats can be changed, right? So if your base damage was 30, you upgrade it to 40, then it would show that it's been upgraded to 40. Also, your experience, how many experience points your character has earned, and your level also will show up on the blockchain, including your damage meter and all of that kind of stuff. So when you see that on the OpenSea on the right or left hand side, you would go down and you would see all those game stats. And there's also a column in there that will show how many credits have been spent upgrading your mech. And the reason we're putting that in there is so that you have an easier justifiable way of saying, look, not only is this upgraded and its rarity is 50, but check out how much we've basically invested in making this a badass game character.
Okay, yeah. So it's an easier way to, maybe if you don't understand all of the stats exactly, you can look and see oh, okay, this is a million credit.
Yep, it's a Homer Simpson way of helping establish higher value of what you have.
Perfect. We need it. It's perfect. Okay, so we have okay, so I want to ask, since we're on the NFT topic, so I bet I'm going to ask your question here in a minute, but since we're still on NFTs, you mentioned another NFT that's going to be dropped, and that's a stronghold. What can you think about that?
So just like an Axie, you have to have 3 axes to play the game, right? Well, we don't need 3 axes. We need the mech and the stronghold. And the reason we have both is the mech is your hero character in the game, right? Remember, it's a tower defense game. Tower defense games, you're protecting your base, which builds the towers. And then you have we're adding in the hero character of the mech, which is like your mobile tactical unit that can move around and support everything. There's also mining in the game too, so it'll have to support the mining aspects of that. But the stronghold is your base. So the base is what you're actually defending. It's what builds the towers. It's what allows you to upgrade the towers in the level. It's what allows you to collect the resources. It's what allows you to do a lot of other cool in-game features. So the stronghold is another game-ready NFT that is also upgradable. It'll have its own rarity stats. It will also have its own set of in-game attributes that you can upgrade, like health, damage, armor, things like that, storage, those kind of things. So you can actually upgrade that as well. It's also the needed component in order to capitalize on the play-to-earn aspects of the game. So there is a free-to-play side of the game, and that will be evolved more in the future as well, where there will, once the game is stable and we've got lots of players in it and everything, we'll actually roll out a traditional, what we call a gratis mech, which will be a very basic base stat mech that can be minted from the game, and people can play the game just to kind of experience it and see if it's something they want to get more involved in. This is one of the things we learned from Animoca that's very critical for gameplay and growth once a game gets expensive to play. If you can't onboard free players and get them excited about it to want to move into the paid side, that you stagnate and die. So we're building that in. But on the play to earn side, free players cannot play or participate in play to earn because it's freeloading and it destroys the economy. So play to earn means you own a mech and a stronghold. And both of those two things are what you use in each level of the game. And they both level up. They both earn experience points. They both earn rewards. And it's kind of functions like that. Now, the stronghold is also something that would, if someone even minted a free mech from the game later on, way down the road when that happens, that mech would not be able to participate in the play to earn unless that player then went and bought a stronghold. The only place to be able to get a stronghold will be from the marketplace. Now, initially when the game launches, the Genesis mech holders are going to be the ones that have the strongholds because they're the ones who are going to be able to mint multiple strongholds. So they have one for themselves, and then they can either rent or sell the other ones to the player. From that point on, new strongholds will have to be forged. The people who are going to be in the position to forging new strongholds, forging is our version of breeding, is going to be the Genesis mech holders because they're already established in the games. They've already have all the assets needed to do the forging. So they'll be able to basically create a whole nother revenue stream for themselves by just creating strongholds if they so choose.
Perfect. Thank you.
Sorry, guys, I have a 5-month-old puppy in the background that keeps yapping. So if you hear that, I apologize.
Oh no, can't hear it at all. At least I can't. Okay, so Abed had a question. Let me find it. Okay, so we want to know what medium is the game being made for? Is it going to be it's going to be done in browser? Is it going to be a PC game? Is it going to be a mobile?
Great question.
Yeah.
So we are doing a WebGL game. So we can do high quality graphics inside of a browser that does not require any kind of really high powered computer or any kind of expensive gaming console. Our goal is to make this game available worldwide. We want to appeal to, we're actually going to have the guild programs and scholarships and all of that stuff as well in the game. So we want to make sure anybody in the world can play this game on a computer with an internet connection. So WebGL is the primary focus. There is talks of developing a mobile specific, like an iPhone or Android version of the game, and that is definitely a possibility. And we're looking at it because we can adapt the WebGL code to do that. But the main push of the game will be WebGL.
Okay, perfect. And then, do you guys expect to keep that $400 to $600 amount for the strongholds as well?
No, we're gonna make the strongholds more affordable because for this first batch, because the first collection of strongholds are only going to be offered to the Genesis mech holders. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna do something special for them, and we may even we got some cool functionality in what we've learned in some of our Solidity stuff. So we may even have a tiered discount program. So if they want to buy multiple ones, they can get discounts on the second and third kind of deal.
Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, discounts are great, especially.
Yeah, but the strongholds, they will only be available to the Genesis mech holders, and I have no doubt that those will sell out because the renting and that's also only to after the Genesis mech collection comes out. But I have no doubt they'll sell out because obviously you need one to play, so they're going to get at least one. But the monetization aspect of them on that, anybody who wants to play beyond that, they have to buy them from the Genesis mech holders. So there's no reason you wouldn't want to buy as many of them as you could afford because you can sell them or rent them out. And that's a whole nother aspect of the game we haven't touched on, but we are building into the game functionality the ability for any person to rent/lease, whatever term you prefer, your stronghold or your mechs out, and you can lease them for a flat fee for X amount for so many days. Or you can lease them out for a percentage that you split where you get 40% and the player renting it gets, 60% or whatever the numbers look like. And you could do that with as many of them as you have. Then, so that's for everybody. And then above that, we'll also have a guild functionality, again, also built in and coded into the gameplay, where guilds can come in and manage their scholars and scholarships and teams, and there'll be managers, there'll be the team players, and there'll be the scholars and the account owner in that account. Now, guilds will have to be approved in advance. We're not going to just let anybody say they're a guild and start doing it. But once you get approved, it'll unlock that extra layer of basically doing the entire scholarship programs in-house with your own dashboards of tracking. And you can set managers to manage X amount of the team or hey, this person has 100 people under him, or this person has 1,000 people under them, whatever. And we're building that out right now in conjunction with a couple different large guilds that have come on board that want to bring between 10 and 30,000 players each into the game right when that functionality is ready. And that will immediately provide massive stability in the game, start moving the economy along really, really well. And so we're using them to help us make sure we build the right kind of functionality in there. But at the same time, this is a caveat for anybody wanting to work with guilds and build a project. You have to double check everything that the guilds say that they need and the way it has to work with someone who actually is not a guild and knows maybe better than you do, because some of the things that the guilds have to have and need would be great for them, but detrimental to the overall gameplay. So we've had to be very careful balancing the two to make sure that it's a stable game that is going to be here for the long run.
Yeah, perfect. I mean, I remember when you said that. So, I mean, and you're talking about, I don't know, man, like 40 to 60,000 players just from that.
Yeah, just from the guild, and that's not even. There's a couple guilds that can bring a lot more than that, but obviously they have to either buy or mint or forge or something to get enough, players like that in. So we'll have to do some creative stuff to help them get in.
Great. Okay. Well, hey, we have another question, and if you guys have questions, go ahead and raise your hand. We'll take 3 or 4 more in this last 10 minutes.
Yeah, throw them in, guys. Happy to answer questions. I know I've been talking a lot, but let me actually talk about something you want to hear.
All right, Harganeth, you're up. Oh, he dropped.
Oh, I see him. I see him still in there. He's wearing a Samurai Saga PFP.
I guess he lowered his hand. Does anybody have a question? I know it's been a lot of information. It's a lot of good stuff. I actually have a question. So, so it's tower defense. You have a hero. Is it going to be any sort of like MOBA style? Like, are you going to be able to like move your hero around independently, or are they going to be kind of on a like going down a line through?
Oh no, you'll have full control over that. Now, so like tower defense, obviously the basics of tower defense is you have a base and then you build defensive towers in fixed locations to try to channel the enemy and blow them all up before they get to your base, right? Yeah. Add to that the hero character, which is your mech. That's you have full control over him. You can run him around, jump him off stuff. If he's got a jetpack, he can fly up. It's a strategy piece, so you can control him. You can have him fly up and drop down right smack in the middle of a whole bunch of enemies and blast them from within, or you can have him sneak behind or jog over to protect one of your mines from the enemy, because that's the thing. We have a strategy element where you're going to have to mine or refine minerals or resources to pay for the towers you're going to build, because otherwise you just click around and towers pop up. That's not cool. So you're going to actually have to juggle resource mining and defending your mines from the enemy while at the same time defending your stronghold. So there's some strategy and planning that has to go into here. So it's very much skill based, and how you perform in that level and if you complete the mission objectives is going to determine how well you get, or what you get in terms of experience points and rewards. And it takes X amount of experience points to level up, to go from like a level 0 to a level 1 to a level 2. And so you want to level up because that allows you to unlock additional upgrades and features and functions in the game. And then also your performance is going to dictate how well you earn, what your earnings are. And there's also in-game NFTs that you may find or unlock or be rewarded as well, that could be accessories for your mech or could be other things that are used in the game. But again, it's skill-based, so you have to actually play it. And the downside is you'll actually have fun doing it. So that kind of sucks, right?
And you're going to get me addicted. I'm like you, man. Get into something.
I will say one thing, Moses, is people are like, man, this sounds like an awesome game, but is it like a long-term play thing? So no, you're not going to have to spend all day playing this game, guys. We're designing it in chunks. You could spend all day playing it if you love it, but it's not something that you're going to have to spend your entire day playing to make your allotment of money that you want to make for the day or whatever. We are, again, keeping in mind that guilds want to play this, their scholars want to play this, knowing that scholars may play Axie and Pegasus or something else. This would be a third game for some people, or their primary, whatever. So we want to make sure that it's something that people can bite off small little bits from, or they can, take a big bite.
Nice. Nice. All right. So Double Down has a question. Go ahead and come on up, Double Down.
How's it going, fellas?
Pretty good. How are you?
Oh, doing great. I'm not gonna lie. I had to check out that white paper as soon as I got on here, and yeah, I'm worried there's not gonna be enough whitelist spots. This thing's gonna sell out quick. But I was just curious: do you have a? I'm sure you probably do. What will the limit be for the whitelist members for mints?
So, right now we have it set at 3. People can mint 3 on the whitelist.
And I remember you said you were talking earlier about if you do a larger amount for the whitelist to break it into a couple of groups. Do you have a rough idea of how many you're thinking of whitelisting?
Well, we were originally we're actually, that's a great question, because it's, as of yesterday, it's become kind of a topic among our advisors and our incubators. With the market the way that it is, we're being advised by some of our incubators to not even have a public launch and do it all through whitelist. I'm not a fan of that, because I've already said we're going to do a public launch, and I like to stick to my word. But at the same time, if we do whitelist a lot of people and take care of them that way, that could be okay. So we may just have a smaller public launch and a bigger whitelist. The exact number, I'm not 100% sure on. I will know that fairly soon. I've got a couple more calls, and we've been doing a lot of forecasting and just mapping out different opportunities, or not opportunities, excuse me, different scenarios. But originally the plan was to have, 2,000 to 3,000 people on the whitelist. But that actually may grow. And what we might also do is, if we break it into multiple whitelists, it may be that the first whitelists can mint up to 3 because they were early in, and then later whitelists can mint 1 or 2 or something like that. So we may have to play with a couple different things.
I like that. That's a great idea. Also, reward the people who are the first ones in that are interested. Well,
Absolutely.
can't wait. And
all of you guys, because I know we're giving away like 250 whitelist spots for Cryptonairz. All of you guys would be on the first list. Everybody who's already whitelisted would be on the first list. So if we did change it, it wouldn't affect anybody. You guys would be able to mint 3.
Oh wow! I did not realize you guys are giving that many away. That's awesome.
Yeah, I was going to give away less, and then Mose was like, "You know what?" I'm like, "All right, bro, like throw it. Like let's throw the heat."
Well, I appreciate it, and keep up the great work. Can't wait.
Yeah, absolutely. And I definitely want to appreciate you guys in the community. There was a ton of you guys after Moses started posting that hopped over into Mech.Game Discord, and you guys have been awesome. Like, we've loved chatting with you guys, and a lot of you guys have been really interactive already. So major props to you guys in the Cryptonairz community, because you guys are great. So I'm very happy to give away a lot of whitelist spots to a great community.
Yeah, actually, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to work for Cryptonairz, right? Because I was a full-time crypto and NFT trader, right? So having it's been nice not having a job, but I mean, this community is something different, It's not your typical Discord alpha group. So I'm super happy that you gave us those spots, right? And super happy that we can bring people into the community that are gonna, like buy the NFTs, right? Hold them, and that are really, they're looking for stuff like you, right? We're looking for good projects that we can trust, that aren't gonna rug us, and that are actually gonna build something, so that when we come back in 8 months, there's something there, right?
Absolutely.
Which is not what we get.
And on that, I just want to I probably don't have to say it, but I think it's worth saying. Guys, as awesome as everything sounds that we're building, and it is awesome, and I'm very excited about it, and it's all happening. Everything, timelines may have to move a little bit just because of reality in life and things like that. But I'm not saying that there won't be problems. I'm not saying that there won't be like things that we have to fix, or things that pop up that we have to figure out how to adapt and move around. I guarantee you that will happen, because that's real life, and that's real business, and that's real development and everything. Like, that stuff's going to happen. What I can tell you is that we're here for the long haul, and we're going to adapt and move around and figure it out and work past it. And I'm going to be leveraging our community to help us do that. We're developing the Game Design Council. We're having our lore committee. We're going to have a whole bunch of different groups. So like, I fully intend to leverage the awesomeness that's in the community in addition to our team to make stuff happen. But I do want you to know that this is, as awesome as all this sounds, it's still real life. So we will have hiccups, we will have problems, but we're here to handle it, and we're here to take care of it. And another piece to kind of put your minds at ease. I know tokens are a big part of this, right? People make a lot of money off tokens. There's, massive money on the table. My tokens that are assigned to me are vested over a 4-year period. Okay, so there is no owner dumps tokens, takes a lot of money and disappears. Like, I'm here for the long haul. So and that's public on the white paper. You can see that. You can see the actually the new white paper, new update on the pitch deck that I'll be publishing tonight will show the full new vesting schedule for me and the other team, because we're not going anywhere. So we want you guys to be confident in what you're doing.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. We appreciate it. All right, so Grim's gonna come back up for the last question. And
another Grim Reaper question.
Yeah, here we go. All right, Grim's up.
Just hearing about the whitelisting, so you've got 250 of them. How do we secure?
Yeah, so I made a couple of posts. So if you guys want to make sure you have your notifications on for all of the announcement channels, I will always post when I've got an AMA coming up. And, like Tanner said, I am pushing hard to get as many whitelist spots as I can for these projects that I bring up. So make sure notifications are on, and then just go check out the announcement channel. It should be in announcements, Super Bowl announcements, and NFT announcements. There's a form, and I'll go ahead and I'll ping it one more time when we get off this. But yeah, I haven't looked to see how many signups we have, but I will tell you this: everybody who's in the audience right now will get a whitelist spot preferentially, and then I'll go to the form to choose the other 190. So screenshots already been taken 20 minutes ago. If you were in here 20 minutes ago, you got the whitelist spot. Okay.
Nice.
Just go ahead and go fill out the form and make sure your name is on the form, so that when I look everyone's name up, you're there. Because if your name isn't on the form, you won't get it.
Okay, so you said go to where on the Cryptonairz?
I'm gonna ping it right as soon as we get off this game, but off this call. But if you look in any of the announcement channels, so Super Bowl announcements, announcements, or NFT announcements, I believe I posted in all 3 places. If not, I will. I'll ping it in the announcements channel again.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir, Moose, or whatever the heck your name is. So Mooshish.
Yeah. My name's Moses.
Moses. All right, bro.
Yeah.
Please give us some commandments. I'll talk to you later.
Right. Commandment number 1: always come to AMAs, because you get whitelist spots if you come to the AMAs.
Damn right. Absolutely.
Yeah, and the more people that show up, the more whitelist spots we get. And we can get big projects in, like Tanner. If we weren't the kind of community that we are, like he said 3 AMAs today. I'm sure he's not taking them from just anybody, right? So we definitely try to be sure that we have people showing up for these, right? Which 64 people is pretty good. I'm happy with it. Next time we have Tanner on, hopefully there's going to be a couple hundred.
That'd be fun.
Right. When the game launches.
Yeah, I think, did I tell you guys we're going to have gameplay in a couple weeks?
You said gameplay trailer, yeah.
Yeah, so we're gameplay trailer by the 1st of April is the plan right now, because we want to have it for me to take to the conferences with me.
Yeah.
So as soon as I have that, Moses, I'll send it over to you, and you can share it with the gang. But that I'm super excited to see that, because up until now it's in my head, right? Like I haven't been, so it'll be the first time I get to see it too.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely excited to see it, because I'm looking for a new addiction right now. I've got this, you ever just have ennui, right? That just boredom of privilege. I know maybe it's not the best thing to say, but man, I need something to play. I need something fun to play. So
yeah, I've been getting an itch to play some old school StarCraft. I want to get back and playing that just cause it was fun.
Are there going to be some StarCraft Easter eggs in there? Are you gonna have, if I click something too much, are they going to say something fun?
There might be. There's definitely. I can't say that there's not StarCraft influence, because I did love that game, but yeah, there might be.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Well, hey, is there anything you want to say before we wrap up?
I would just say, guys, if thanks for coming. First of all, there's 63 of you in here right now. That's awesome. Really appreciate you guys taking time out of your night to hang out with us, or your morning if you're in Australia or somewhere. But anyway, thanks for being here. And then hop over to the Mech.Game Discord and hang out and ask us more questions. There's a lot more resources and visuals. Like everything you had to see here is like imagining it. Like go hop over to our Discord and you can see it all in real time and what it actually looks like. And that'll do it. We can answer your questions. And, if you need anything, just reach out to me.
Yeah, you can also reach out to me. I will direct you to the answers that you require. Yeah, thank you so much, Tanner, for
Actually,
coming.
Moses, one thing.
Yeah.
Guys, if you go to the website, and I highly recommend you do, scroll down to the Meet the Mechs section, and there's a clicky thingy there where you can click through all different 8 mechs. Give it a second to load because it's actually loading a 3D game character, and it takes a little bit of time. But you can drag, drop, manipulate the actual game characters and really see what they're going to look like. I've had a lot of people that didn't even realize that was what was on the site. So mech.game, scroll down to Meet the Mechs and click on it and play with those mechs. Give them time to load. I promise you. And zoom in. You can zoom in, zoom out. People didn't know that either. So make sure you check that out.
Yeah, I saw you did an AMA, or you're going to do an AMA with James Pelton. Is that right?
Yeah, we did. That was one of my ones this morning.
Yeah. So he was
one.
Yeah, so I dropped that to him, and he said he's like, this page just took so long to load because of what's on it, and I'm extremely bullish. He was like, yeah. So very well. Thanks, man. We're gonna see you again soon.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. We're looking forward to it. And guys, we have 2 more AMAs this week. Tomorrow we've got Joe Schmo's Not So Average Club, which is something I think every crypto investor needs. Is it's an educational group about focusing on the fundamentals of investing, right? So it's not an alpha group. We're talking about like what you do with all that money after you make it. Because if you don't know where it's going to go, you're going to give it away, right? And then Friday we have the Neighbors, right, which is an NFT project that is really a node project. They're not advertising it quite like that, but that's what it is. So I posted about that. Go check them out. Join the Discord. I do have whitelist spots for that one as well, preferentially given to the people who show up to the AMA. So come check us out, and I hope everybody has a good night. All right.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. We'll see you later.
Yeah. See you later.